Boy, have I got a story for you, and you need to hear this straight from the horse's mouth, or at least straight from my friend Dave's mouth. Dave had an experience that you need to listen, and you're going to learn a lot from. So let's just say if you've ever had a scary moment boondocking, urban boondocking, even staying at a Cracker Barrel, you need to hear this.
Hey, I'm Dave. So I had an interesting kind of experience the other night that I had not had so far in my van life adventures. And as we do, sometimes we stop by a Cracker Barrel, right? Great place to go and get an overnight. And we had a group of us there. We were like 7 different vans. We're just hanging out. Nice place to do an overnight before an event. And I was up a little late. And it was just kind of sitting around chilling and trying to wind down for the night. And I decided to check out my security cameras for whatever reason. Didn't really have a reason, but I was like, I can't remember if I turned my motion sensor on or not. So I'm just going to open it up and see what's going on. And lo and behold, I saw a person outside, and I was sitting in the driver's seat, turned around. And there was an Spreco behind me. And I saw on the camera somebody climbing up the ladder of my friend's Echo. So, of course, the pulse starts running, like, what's going on, and I had the window partially down already. So I was like, hey, what are you doing? Unresponsive, completely unresponsive. And I was like, okay, let me try to get this person's attention again. And it looked like a kid, probably 19, 24-ish, somewhere along there. And it's like, they're just messing around or something. And so I yelled again and no response. I'm like, what do I do? I didn't really think too much, to be honest. So I stepped out of the van, and I was actually on a call. I had a headset on. So I knew somebody was kind of with me virtually and knew what was going on. And I said, hold on just a minute, just kind of stay with me here while I go out. And I confronted the individual and finally got his attention. He was up on the ladder and he came down. And I was like, what are you doing? Why are you on somebody else's van? Oh, I was bored. I'm like, don't do that. Just don't climb on people's ladder. It was a kid, so I felt like, maybe it was a teachable moment or something. It's like, you don't climb on other people's property. And so he was obviously surprised that somebody had caught him in the act. I don't know what he was trying to do. I don't know if he was trying to steal something off of the top of the van or what. I'm not really sure. It's a big van. It's not a small van, so I'm not really sure. So then by that time, the owner of the van had woken up because he was asleep and felt the van shake, and that woke him up. So he's coming out of the van in his door, and we're standing in the parking lot. Nobody else had woken up or knew what was going on at that point. And I was like, trying to de-escalate the situation, essentially. So it was around 11:45 at this point, and my friend had started coming out the van, and we were talking just to say, hey, are you good? Are you good? Because we're trying to figure out what was really happening. And I was like, hey, you good? You planning on leaving? There's nothing here for you. And so it was kind of late, and we were like, he was evidently triggered by something and started to flash his hood, the bottom of his hoodie up, and he had a pistol in his waistline. And his whole tone and demeanor really changed. I don't know if it was something that I said or the way I said it or anything like that, but for whatever reason, things escalated a bit for him, and I was like, oh, okay. And so we're just trying to reiterate, are we all good? Because I'm good. Are you good? Are you good? Are you planning on leaving? And he flashed 3 times. And then eventually we were able to, calm things down enough to where he left. So by that point, when he started leaving, my friend was already calling the police, and it took them a while to get there, but they were very caring and, about the situation. They were not surprised at all. And they asked for descriptions, and we gave the best we could for all that. And they actually combed the area. We actually saw where he had walked away to. And, it's a little bit of a scary situation that was not really expected, so.
Knowing what you know now, would you have done the same thing or would you do anything different?
That's a great question. I think knowing what I know now, after the fact, hindsight's always a little bit clearer than when you're in the moment. But I feel like I read people pretty well, but it's not like we were sitting and having a conversation, right? So I'm really seeing somebody up on the ladder. I was thinking, that may not have been the smartest thing. So I think for me, in the future, I probably won't be so quick to just hop out. I think I felt a bit of comfort in knowing that there were 7 different vans there with people. Maybe I made the assumption that everybody would still be awake too, So I'm thinking, okay, it's late at night. Some people were asleep. Yeah, so I felt a bit of comfort knowing that there were 7 vans there with people in them, and I was thinking, hey, everybody's still awake. The reality is only my friend, that it was his van that the person was climbing up on, and he shook the van. He woke up, but it wasn't until the cops were rolling in, which was almost 20 minutes later, maybe 15, 20 minutes later, that he came out and was like, hey, what's going on? So I think I probably jumped the gun a bit and assumed that other people would wake up or were already awake. I didn't know. You can't know in that situation.
So bottom line is you never know when something like this could happen to you. What would you have done in this particular instance? Is there something that you think you would have tried or done or called? What do you think about Dave's response, and how would you have responded? So now that you heard his story, would you do something different? Would you do the same thing? I'm just curious. I know what I would have done. I'm going to tell you what my 2 cents are in this whole entire situation. So first of all, just because you're with a caravan does not automatically assume safety. Just because you're traveling with a partner doesn't automatically assume safety. There's lots of things that could happen. You just sort of need to get prepared for lots of different, ideas. However, the first thing I would say is that I would do is one of my best defenses is my good old-fashioned key fob. I will always use my locker and flash the lights. People don't know if you're coming towards your vehicle or you're going away from your vehicle. If there's someone out there, it sort of gives them an idea that, oh, someone's coming, or, they're aware of something happening. So that's just a little deterrent that I like to use. The whole idea is to not escalate the situation, number one. The second idea is if you feel that your life might be in danger and you're unable to handle the situation, first thing you do is call the cops. Call for backup. Do not wait. Automatically dial. Give them your name, your location, a description of the person you see. Do that immediately. You can take a picture, you can take a video, you can have all those wonderful things, because by the time the police arrive, they may or may not be there, but at least they'll have a better description of the person doing that. So these are things to think about when these situations arise. Another thing I do when I'm urban boondocking is I have an app on my phone called Spot Crime Plus. Spot Crime is fantastic, and I look at it on my app and go, okay, I'm staying at this Cracker Barrel or at this Walmart or at this Bass Pro or on the side of the street. Have there been any burglaries, thefts, assaults, or other things I need to be aware of? And typically, if there've been, a significant amount, they'll show up on this map, and it's really good to know. It gives me a little idea of what I'm dealing with late at night, and I want to make sure that I'm in a safe space for myself, my traveling partners, and my caravan. Last but not least, I want to thank David for sharing his story, because this is really important for you to know. This could happen to anyone at any time, at any place. So big shout out to Cracker Barrel. We love Cracker Barrel for letting us stay there. I want to just say that right now. I've had fantastic experiences there. This is just a one-off kind of situation, and they do have video surveillance, and I typically say park under a light, back in, give yourself lots of room. No one can predict these kind of things. So you just want to be aware and do whatever you need to do to keep yourself safe out there. If you want to learn more about van life and overlanding, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button, that bell to get notified. I put out videos every single week on really interesting topics that might also impact your safety in a good way. So until next week, do me a favor, safe travels and happy trails.